I'm Troy Sage.
And I'm Andrew Smith, and we're going to talk a little bit about new delinquency numbers.
A little bit.
Yeah, one of the questions becomes, there's always a lot of questions on where's the housing market heading, what's happening, and it really depends on whose numbers that you're looking at, because they seem to vary all over the place. The common theme has been foreclosures are down, right. And that part is true. But I don't know how many people saw this, but there was an article on CNN Money recently that really had some interesting information on where delinquency numbers...
You're a CNN guy?
It came across my email. It was an alert,
Just ask,
so to speak.
Not a Fox guy or an ABC guy?
I watch all of them.
Right. Just making sure our viewers understand what angle you're taking.
I'm pleasing to all. But this was kind of interesting, talking about the situation with regards to foreclosures being down, but home payment delinquency numbers are soaring. Okay, and here's what they mean. And
along with unemployment.
Along with unemployment.
Yeah, they kind of work together.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what they've got here is they've got the percentage of homeowners that are less than 6 months behind, 7 to 8 months, 9 to 11 months, 12 to 17 months, 18 to 23 months, and 24 plus. I'm not going through all of them.
Yeah, man.
But
holy
here's the interesting thing. If you go back to July of 2009,
okay,
a couple of years ago, the 22% of all homeowners were less than 6 months delinquent.
Nationwide.
Nationwide.
Okay.
Okay, if we roll that forward to July 2007, the number less than 6 months is 11%, half what it was 2 years ago. So on the surface, that's great.
Yeah.
Except when you go to the other end of the spectrum.
Okay, let's go to the other end.
So if you go to July of 2009, the number of homeowners that were more than 24 months behind on their payments was 6%. Okay?
Wait, I'm sorry. I have such a hard time with that when you say more than 24 months delinquent.
More than 24 months delinquent. If you have a hard time with that,
that's 2 years.
That's 2 years.
They haven't made a payment in 2 years.
Correct.
You see, the way I was raised, and I don't want this to reflect upon my attitude on life or come across negatively towards anyone that's watching our video. If you haven't made a payment in 2 years, you should really count your blessings you're still in the house. Because where I grew up, just outside Detroit, if you were 90 days late, they'd be boarding up your house.
Right.
Okay.
Well, but here's the thing.
Okay.
And you're going to love this. So if 2 years ago, 6% of all delinquent homeowners were more than 2 years late.
Yep.
We roll that forward to July of 2011.
Okay.
37% of all delinquencies are in excess of 24 months.
So 36%. 37% of homeowners that haven't made a payment in 2 years.
Correct. Are still in their house.
Wow.
And so you could say, well, between 2009 and 2011, the numbers have fallen. And that could be true, but at the same point in time, we're still talking here of an excess of 2.2 million loans.
Yeah, my mind's reeling. I'm thinking, why am I working so hard to make my mortgage payment?
Well, and that's a topic of another video, to be honest with you.
I'm thinking I got a whole new business plan.
Well, exactly. I mean, delaying foreclosure has obviously been something that all of the banks have done.
Right.
The robo-signing scandal, we've talked that before, being sued by all the attorneys general, and we're not getting into the rights, wrongs, or indifferences on that. But the bottom line is the banks haven't been foreclosing. These numbers seem to show that by the fact of how many people, right here, 3716, that is like 67, almost 70% of all delinquencies are a minimum of 9 months.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, on a realistic level here, without me coming across as being angry or some kind of negative emotion in regards to people living in their home 2 years and not making a payment, I'm with you. I understand times are tough, and I'd much rather have them in a house with their family. They can't afford to make the payment than sleeping on the streets. Okay, I'm not trying to criticize anyone.
Right.
It just blows my mind that, I mean, you haven't made a house payment in 2 years, and we can see why. The banks are putting processes in place so that they can help them get out of the property on a short sale. We're seeing that the banks are working to not be so quick to foreclose on people because of the ignorant mistakes that the banks have made with the robo-signing and the bogus shit that's gone on, okay? Totally understand.
Right.
And I'm sorry, it just flips me out. That,
well, you know, the foreclosure filings this past July were the lowest they've been since November of 2007. And the point of going through these numbers and the point of this actual article was saying there's a good and a bad. One is, on the good side, less people are being foreclosed on, which gives more time to work things out and to pursue other options. As you know, right now, the preferred method of disposition for the banks is a short sale. This is telling you that there's a lot more people here who can potentially be short sale candidates and go through that. The second thing, though, the flip side of all of that, the negative aspect is you've got two different scenarios going on. One is this article points out, it kind of creates a really dark cloud hanging over housing because it's not getting all of this stuff washed through. It's not moving on. We've got, you know, these people that haven't made payments in forever. So now all of a sudden, you're like, the neighbors know that this house is eventually getting foreclosed on, something's going on, they see that property values aren't improving. Then you have the whole aspect of, like you just touched on, well, hang on a minute here, if they're not making payments, why should I make payments?
Right.
So it's not an easy answer.
No.
At some point in time, you end up drawing the line in the sand, and you've got to move through all of this. You know, right now, you know, one of the things that they're looking at is Fannie and Freddie themselves collectively own. They've actually foreclosed on and own 248,000 homes that they have not yet brought to market.
And that's a scary number, but that's nationwide. And
correct.
I don't want anyone to misunderstand, because I get these calls like you do, where a buyer or an investor, especially investors, because they're really hitting the numbers, so they're like, well, you know, 4.9 million homes are going to foreclosure in the next 90 days. Okay. How many homes are there in the entire United States?
Exactly. You can't get lost in the numbers. It's just there's a lot of talk on what the administration is going to do, and as we've talked about before, it is an election year coming up, and you're going to start to see a lot of things. A flood of foreclosures going into an election is not good for any administration.
No.
We've already talked about changes that are taking place to HAFA, to try and get more people to participate in the HAFA program. But it's really important, as you're talking to people out there, to have a firm grasp on the numbers, which is why we go over them, to make sure that you understand where the market is currently and what the options are. I will agree with you 100%. When you've got someone contemplating a short sale that knows their neighbor hasn't paid in 2 years, why should we sell now? We know we can live here for free for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult topic. We don't have time to go into.
Yeah, because there's no guarantee they're going to hang for 2 years.
Yeah, there's no guarantee. I've got people right now that, you know, they're 4 months behind and they've already got sale dates posted.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's going to vary from case to case, and there's extenuating circumstances, but it's really important to know your numbers. And what this is saying here is that delinquency problem is not going away, which means short sales are going to be with us for the
next few years, for sure. The bottom line here is this: if you're a homeowner and you're struggling to make a mortgage payment, or you know someone that's struggling to make a mortgage payment, you owe it to yourself to contact a educated real estate agent and discuss your options, instead of just throwing your hands in the air and letting this thing go.
And walk away.
Right.
You know, or if you want to talk to an independent, makinghomeaffordable.gov is another website.
That is a great website.
That's a great website. Makinghomeaffordable.gov. It will link you directly with HUD counselors that will be willing and able to go through all of your options for you.
Yep.
So again, you have any questions about this or anything in general with to do short sales, you want to give us some feedback, we'd love to hear it. www.s2neg.com.
That's all we have, right?
That's it.
All right. Have a great day.
See ya.